On the 13th of March 2024, Barcelona faced Napoli in the Champions League. On the pitch were veterans on both the Blaugranas team and the Italian side. Barcelona needed a result, and Hansi Flick made a decision that confused everyone watching. He started a 17-year-old at centre-back. 90 minutes later, Barcelona won 3-1. The 17-year-old was named player of the match, and he broke David Alaba's record as the youngest debutant in a Champions League knockout game. That kid was Pau Cubarsi. That night, the football world realized something Barcelona had known for years. They had a gem on their hands. But just how good is he? To understand what Cubarsi is becoming, you have to understand what came before him. For over 2 decades, Barcelona's defense was built on 2 pillars. The first was Carles Puyol. Puyol didn't arrive at La Masia as a centre-back. He came as a right-back, undersized, overlooked. No club in Spain thought he had the profile to defend at the highest level. He proved every single one of them wrong. What Puyol lacked in intelligence, he replaced with something you cannot coach: fury. Every header was a war, every tackle was personal, every match was a fight he refused to lose. He wasn't the most talented defender of his generation, he was the most relentless. And for a club that values style over substance, Puyol was the reminder that sometimes you just need someone who refuses to be beaten. But his second pillar was the opposite: Gerard Pique. Where Puyol was chaos, Pique was calm. Where Puyol won duels through aggression, Pique won them before they even started. By being in the right place, by seeing the pass before the attacker made it, by reading the game like he had already watched it happen. Pique didn't defend with his body, he defended with his brain. He could take the ball from his own 6-yard box and carry it into the opponent's half without breaking stride. He could stand flat-footed while a striker ran at him, then step across at the perfect moment and take the ball clean. Other defenders reacted. Pique anticipated. Together, they were the spine of one of the greatest teams ever assembled. And for nearly a decade, attackers faced a choice: get past the warrior or outsmart the genius. Most couldn't do either. In 2014, Puyol's body finally gave out. Years of throwing himself into every challenge had taken their toll. He retired as a captain, as a legend, as the heartbeat of Barcelona's defense for over a decade. And since then, the centre-back position in Barcelona became a search, one that could carry what they left behind. When Puyol retired, Barcelona believed they had time. Pique was still there. All they needed was a partner, someone to stand beside him, someone to grow into the role Puyol had left behind. The first solution was Javier Mascherano, a World Cup finalist, a 2-time Copa America winner, one of the best defensive midfielders of his generation. Barcelona moved him to centre-back, and for a while, it worked. His reading of the game was elite, his positioning was intelligent, his aggression filled some of the void Puyol had left. But Mascherano was 5'9" in a position that punishes you for every inch you don't have. He was a solution, never a successor. Then came Samuel Umtiti in 2016, 25 million euros from Lyon. He seemed to be the long-term answer. Umtiti won the World Cup with France, and it looked like the centre-back Barcelona would build around for the next decade. But his knees betrayed him. Injury after injury, surgery after surgery. The partnership with Pique that was supposed to define an era never materialized. By 2022, Umtiti had played more games in the physio room than on the pitch. Clément Lenglet deputized whenever Umtiti couldn't. He was quite dependable in the way that backup defenders need to be, but Lenglet was never spectacular. Never the player who could grab a game by the throat when Barcelona needed someone to take control. He kept the seat warm, but he never made it his own. Barca's search wasn't over. In 2022, Barcelona signed Andreas Christensen from Chelsea. He was a Champions League winner, experienced at the highest level, the profile of a player who could finally anchor the defense. And then in the same week he arrived, Pique announced his retirement. Christensen was supposed to partner Pique. Instead, he was left trying to lead the backline that had lost its identity overnight. No Puyol, no Pique, no clear structure. Just a Danish defender trying to fill a void that was never meant to be his responsibility. The problem wasn't effort, it wasn't investment, it wasn't the lack of trying. The problem was simpler. The player Barcelona needed, someone who combined Puyol's intensity and Pique's intelligence, couldn't be bought off the shelf. The market didn't sell that player, but La Masia was already building one. Cubarsi's rise started in 2024, where he made his first team debut in a Copa del Rey match. He was a standout with the youth team, and at 16 years old came off the bench as a child among professionals. Most people watching had never heard of his name, but by the end of the season they would never forget it. 4 days after his debut, Cubarsi started against Real Betis in La Liga, and what happened next would shock the entire world. Pau Cubarsi was the best player on the pitch. The composure was eerie. Strikers with a decade more experience couldn't unsettle him. Pressure that breaks grown men rolled off him like water. He defended like he had done this 1,000 times before. But the moment that changed everything came 2 months later, in the round of 16, Barcelona vs Napoli, the most intimidating stadium in Italy, a knockout tie on the line, and Hansi Flick made a decision that would have gotten most managers sacked if it went wrong. He started Pau Cubarsi. The pressure would have crushed most teenagers. Cubarsi didn't even blink. Every cross that came into the box, he was the first there. Every long ball over the top, he read it before it was played. Barcelona won 3-1, and when the final whistle blew, there was only one name on everyone's lips. Pau Cubarsi had just won the Player of the Match. At 17 years and 50 days old, the youngest player to ever debut in the Champions League knockout rounds. This wasn't a promising cameo, this wasn't potential for the future. This was a prodigy walking onto the biggest stage in club football and performing like he belonged there, because he did. After the match, Flick was asked about starting a teenager in a Champions League knockout game. His answer was simple: he is ready. 3 words. The same 3 words Barcelona had been waiting a decade to say about a centre-back coming from La Masia. He is ready. There was still one thing Cubarsi needed. Puyol had Pique, Pique had Puyol. Every great centre-back in Barcelona's history had a partner who made him better. Cubarsi needed his. In 2025, that partner was Inigo Martinez. 32 years old, vocal, experienced. The kind of veteran who could guide a teenager through the chaos of a full campaign. When Cubarsi made a mistake, Martinez covered. When Cubarsi needed to learn, Martinez taught. When the pressure mounted, Martinez absorbed it. The partnership worked, Barcelona's defense stabilized, and then Barcelona sold them. All of a sudden, this teenager was left without a senior centre-back beside him. No veteran to guide him, no experience to lean on. Just Cubarsi, and whatever Barcelona could piece together around him. The options were Ronald Araujo, Eric Garcia, and Gerard Martin. Araujo had talent but couldn't stay fit. Garcia had the intelligence but not the authority. Martin is young and still learning about himself. None of them were leaders, none of them could do what Martinez had done. And the results told the story. Barcelona suffered 7 losses this season. 5 of them came from a Cubarsi-Garcia partnership and 2 from a Cubarsi-Araujo pairing. 7 defeats, every single one with Garcia or Araujo beside him. The pattern was undeniable. But there was one pairing that told a different story. Whenever Cubarsi played alongside Gerard Martin, Barcelona never lost. Okay, they just did against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, but Cubarsi got sent off in that game. But hey, whenever they're on the pitch together for 90 minutes, they're unbeaten. And although it's a small sample size and easy to say it's coincidence, the understanding between the two is strong. Cubarsi and Garcia couldn't find that rhythm. Cubarsi and Araujo couldn't stay on the pitch long enough to build it. Cubarsi and Martin, something clicked. The truth is uncomfortable, but simple. Cubarsi doesn't need a superstar beside him. He doesn't need a £50 million signing or a World Cup winner. He needs the right partner. Someone who complements his game. Someone who trusts his instincts. Someone who lets him lead. Barcelona spent a decade searching for their next great centre-back. They found him. Now they just need to figure out who stands beside him. When you watch Cubarsi defend, you can't help but notice everything that makes him special. The aggression, the refusal to be bullied, the way he attacks the ball like it personally offended him. That's Puyol. Now watch him read the game, the positioning, the anticipation, the way he sees the pass 3 seconds before it's played and drifts into the space like he already knew. That's Pique. Cubarsi defends like Puyol, thinks like Pique. He'll win a header in his own box and then carry the ball 40 yards upfield. He'll read a counter-attack before it starts and then slide in with a challenge that rattles the striker's bones. Fire and ice, warrior and mastermind in the same player. Barcelona spent millions on Umtiti, tried Mascherano, tried Longley, tried Christensen. None of them could be what Puyol and Pique were because they were trying to be one or the other. Cubarsi is both, and at 18 years old he's already closer than any of them ever got. And Barcelona wasn't the only one who noticed. In March 2024, Luis de la Fuente called up Cubarsi to the senior Spain squad. At the time he was still 17 years old. Pau Cubarsi became the youngest defender to ever play for Spain. The record he broke belonged to Sergio Ramos. 4 months later, he was heading with the team to Paris for the Olympic Games. Cubarsi was selected for Spain's under-23 squad. He started every match, and Spain won the golden medal. Most players don't achieve that in an entire career. Cubarsi did it before turning 18. What Barcelona have done in Cubarsi is truly rare. Chelsea paid £75 million for Wesley Fofana. Manchester United spent £80 million for Harry Maguire. Real Madrid invested €60 million in David Alaba. But Barcelona have a centre-back ranked 6th in the world at 18 years old. A player with a higher ceiling than any of them. A hybrid of two legends who defined defending at this club for 2 decades. And he cost them nothing. Just years of patience, years of development, years of trust in the process that always separated Barcelona from everyone else. And now, the moment is his. Pau Cubarsi is the €100 million defender Barcelona got for free, but all his developments may amount for nothing if Barcelona doesn't get him the right pairing. But let us know what you think in the comments below. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. Subscribe and check out the next video on your screen.